Love Bugs. Thank you so much for joining me here today at Kara's Love Techniques. I am Coach Kara, of course, and today we are talking about another dating topic, and that is dating an introvert. And first, we're going to talk about dating an introvert, and then, secondly and lastly, we'll talk about being an introvert while dating. Okay, so let's get started. So perhaps you've met an introvert or you're trying to think a little outside of the box, outside of your comfort zone, right? And I know most of you serial extroverts, you probably think that dating an introvert is about as exciting as eating bean sprouts, right? Yeah, and they probably feel the same way. Yeah. So, but here's the thing, guys, to transition into this new dating arena, with someone with a completely different mindset, different lifestyle, they're quite reserved. It's going to take it's going to take some patience from you, understanding as well. And before you realize it, you're going to see that, hey, I probably needed this balance in my life. So that's what we're looking at right here. All right. So if you have met an introvert and, they're quite interesting, yet you don't know if you can kind of handle the slow pace that he or she is giving you, well, again, that goes back to being patient. You're going to need a great deal of patience with this individual in order for them to open up to you. You want a person to always be able to open up to you comfortably on his or her term. This is what you want. So again, it's going to take a little, just being patient. And I think it will also be wise for you to not put all of yourself out there first, because that could be quite overwhelming to someone who's a bit more reserved and they do things probably more so in a timely manner or on their own term. In this case, and I know you're probably the one who always leads, you might want to just step back a little and allow them to step ahead of you just a little. This way they feel a little bit more in control of what it is that they're doing. So the key thing here is to not try to change someone. We do not want them to change you and vice versa. And the reason why that is because, well, if you're trying to change someone, they're not going to be who they really are. So with that, it just takes being more patient with adapting to this new sort of persona and experience on both parts. So yeah, it may take a little or a lot of adapting here to just become accustomed to one's behavior. I know you like being social and putting yourself out there. Well, you're just gonna have to realize that when you go on your first or second date, they may not be into taking selfies and just being all explorative with their experience. See, it's going to take that type of mindset. Yeah, the key word for today is having the right mindset for this type of person. All right. So, what you can do though is focus on your commonalities. So, you have to really think about what brought you two together in the first place. People just don't randomly come into our lives for no apparent reason. So, if you made some sort of connection, you've had dialogue, something's bringing you two together, you should probably wait around to find out what it is and why it is. There's something that is bringing you two together. And it could be that you, the extrovert, could need this sort of balance to help calm you down, to allow you to see yourself in a different perspective and to see life in a different set of lenses. Do you understand? Yeah, perhaps. Ask probing questions. So, with an introvert, you always want to ask questions, but you want to ask the right questions at the right time. Yes, I know. It seems like a lot of work, but I mean, if you're trying to try something different or something new with someone different, then this is what it's going to take. A little bit more from your part, probably. Asking just the right questions and being mindful of what it is you're asking and the way that you're asking it. Because what you may get is a lot of pushback or a lot of reservation or just not wanting to open up because you asked at the wrong time or the way it was asked. See, these sorts of people, they're kind of different. So you kind of want to tread lightly. And I know I shouldn't say that, but just allow them to open up and express. And the one way you can get them going is to share more about yourself. The more that you share about yourself and you can kind of pace their comfort level, because that's what you have to do. You have to really focus and hone in on one's comfort level, where they are, how they're feeling. Let that be your guide. And if what you're saying is in agreement and then they can open up and then join in on the topic or your conversation, then you're good. Then that's the path you should continue to take. Yeah, so you're going to have to be very mindful of what you speak, what you ask, how you do things. Be very considerate, especially while planning a date. You may even want them to plan like the first date, just so you can get a better idea of what it is that they're into, their personality. Because more so than likely, if you're an extrovert, well, you like all things outside. You love people, loud music. You're more outgoing. So that kind of that's known. But with an introvert, it's quite different because everything is so private with them and personal. Yeah. Um, and lastly, you really want to appreciate your differences. We're all different in this world in some way or another. We're all weird. I know I'm weird and goofy, so what are you going to do? But you really want to appreciate what they can show you and vice versa. You know, you really want to see what they can teach you new experiences. You can learn a lot from someone who's introverted because they have a lot of time on their hands probably to read, study, explore, and different avenues. So just see this as a new experience that can teach you some things and teach you some things about yourself as well. If one thing that you're going to take away from this sort of experience, given the length of time that you decide to be in it, of course, is that you're going to realize how patient or impatient you are, how well you listen, or how non-communicative you are. You're going to learn some things about yourself. Okay? So allow that to be your takeaway. All right, so that's all for right now for dating an introvert. So now if you are an introvert and you want to date, you have difficulty dating because they're either an ambivert or an extrovert. And that's a challenge for you as far as opening up goes. Well, here's the thing, guys. You're going to have to be confident just like everybody else who decides to date. You're going to have that mindset and that mind frame of, I'm coming out here, I'm going to try this sort of experience to find, a partner or just one to hang out with. You're going to have to put yourself out there. It's going to take a great deal of confidence, as in anything in life, especially today in this era. You definitely need to have yourself together internally. Like, your esteem needs to be where it is, because what you don't want to do is put yourself out there with false confidence and then be taken advantage of. You need to know when someone is manipulating you. You need to know how to shut that down. Having confidence and strength. Having a sense of boldness to you. It takes bravery to try to meet someone else new. You know that, right? That's for everybody. Everyone gets nervous because you just don't know. It's the unknown. Especially meeting a whole other new human and you don't know what it's capable of. Yeah, they feel the same way about you. And that's just the reality of it. And you have to know that dating, it is a game. So you're going to have to be ready to put whatever skill you have, the best skill that you have, put that to use. If you're keen, you're perceptive, put that out there and, allow that to shine in that moment for yourself, to protect yourself. You're going to have to know what it is that you're looking for. Again, you're going to have to know what it is that you're looking for, because if you're just trying all types of random people, it's going to discourage you. along the way. So you're going to have to know right away and then just dismiss it if it's not giving you what it is that you need right away. And I know introverts can be quite picky as well as fickle. So you're also going to have to reprogram your mind into being open-minded. That may be your greatest challenge, especially if you are going to meet an extrovert, someone who enjoys the outside, water sports, adventurous activities. You're going to have to be more open-minded. But see, what you have to realize is when you meet someone and say they want to take you parasailing, maybe on like the second date, just know for that individual to ask that of you, knowing that you are an introvert and a bit reserved, that they believe in you. They believe that you can actually do that versus skydiving. Okay, that's going to come, but much later, if you guys continue to date, much later, if they're that type of, yeah, that type of wild. But no, if someone is asking you to do something just out of your norm, it's because they believe that you can. And you just need to believe that you can do that. Just a couple minutes in the air, you may get that adrenaline rush, and then you come back down, you're going to love it. I promise you. So you're really going to have to begin to be more considerate, appreciate that someone is trying to take you outside of your comfort zone, and just trying something new. Hell, you might like it. I promise you. Being more open-minded for an introvert is key. That's if you really want someone to date you. Express yourself. So when it comes to an introvert, expressing yourself, it's not a challenge. It's just that you have your own time and way of doing things, of communicating. So at some point, you're going to have to let your date know, or your potential date, you're going to have to let them know that you're interested, like verbally, vocally. You're going to have to communicate that. Oh, wow, you're pretty exciting. You're interesting. You're not as, outgoing as I thought you were. So, share things about them that you fancy, that you find attractive and appealing, so that they'll know, are they on the right track? Should they continue to pursue you? That's only fair, because you gotta realize if someone is an extrovert or an ambivert, that they're taking a risk as well. And you may have only dealt with introverted people to where you guys are just so comfortable with just being inside all the time and doing whatever you want to do. But now you're in a whole nother game. So you're going to have to be more communicative in every aspect, like more now than ever before. And this will also allow you to learn yourself more and trust yourself. Trust what it is that you're saying. Trust what it is that you're doing. And this is how you're going to build that confidence to continue to put yourself out there for any type. You're just going to have to take that risk. Now, if you don't choose to, well, that's on you. You may never know how bold and self-challenging you can become. You may never know that if you don't try it. Most importantly, though, just try not to change yourself for someone, because I know at times, we could like someone or be totally attracted to another person. And if they want us to do something, we do it, change our hair, makeup, whatever it is. If you're not comfortable with doing it, if it wasn't your idea, then you probably shouldn't do it. Because what you don't want to do is change yourself from, who you really are to just please someone else that's not going to be around much longer. No, we don't want to do that. We want that individual to adapt to who you are, to accept you for who you are, and be patient enough to understand you more and just be totally acceptance of you. That's what you want. Okay, so don't ever feel like you should be pressured into changing who you are. If you're not comfortable, well, then you're just not comfortable. You're not ready. You're not there yet. Again, lastly, for the most part, trust yourself, believe in yourself. You got to have that confidence that you can date anybody. See, when you know that you can step out to the world regardless of what type you are, and that you can date anybody, ah, the feeling is amazing. Okay, you'll be amazed. You'll probably have an ego out of this world, which is okay as long as you know how to control it. But yeah, so y'all want you to do a little risk taking. Put yourself out there just a little bit, you know. For the most part, just know who you are and control your world. Be more patient with the individual. Don't judge. I know extroverts, they can be a lot. And I'm so grateful that I'm an ambivert. You know, I get the best of both worlds. I know how to turn it on and turn it off. But and that's good for me because now either one of you would not bother me. And that's kind of where you want to be. You want to be somewhere like in the middle. You can handle both worlds. You know, you want to be like that, especially today with the way we are and the advancement of humans. Yeah. Yeah, you want to be somewhere to where you can deal with all types. All right. So hopefully this has been somewhat insightful for you. I thank you all so much for joining me. If you need further consultation, all of my information will be linked down below. But that is all for now, my loves. Until next time.